We recently let you know that we are changing things up a little bit and we are moving from land travel, just temporarily, but to cruising.
Yes.
And we had some big questions from that video.
Yes, a lot of questions from that video. Now, we're not going to share our full itinerary yet, not in this video. We're going to get to it though, so be patient with us on that. We're going to cover just about everything else though.
Yeah, really kind of the questions you had was, how do we pick the ship that we're going on? How do we pick the itinerary that we're going on? How do we pick the cruise line? All of that. It's a lot, and I get it. When you're starting to dig in and start to navigate and try and find these cruises, it can become overwhelming.
Right. I think the biggest one was, we're going for 58 days. Is this one 58-day cruise, or is it cruises backed up, stacked up? How many different ships? We're going to cover all that and how we went about doing it all. So what do we look for when we're trying to figure out which cruise line, cabin style, food, and all that? What is the number one criteria?
The number one criteria I would think would probably be reviews. That for us is, when we're looking and it doesn't have good reviews for the ship or for the cruise line, it's kind of a no-go for us. But I would say another area for us which really stands out, we're in our 50s traveling, we don't have young kids. And so I would say those ships that really are centered around kids and a lot of kid equipment in the pictures is probably one that we stick away from.
I love Disney. I love Disney. Disney's great.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to go on a Disney cruise. It's just not something that I'm interested in doing. There are a lot of kids on most every cruise, but Antarctica, for example, the last cruise we went on, I think there were maybe 4.
There was, and they 4 very well-behaved kids, and then also even the repositioning the cruise that we went on. You don't see a lot of kids on repositioning cruises, but we were kind of counting it was maybe a handful, like maybe 5 or less kids. You feel bad for the kids that are on there because they don't have anybody to hang out and do anything with.
I feel bad for the adults sometimes too. Now, we're not anti-kid.
No,
We've
not
got
at
kids
all.
of
We've got
our
our
own,
kids.
grandkids and all that. We love kids. We just don't like other people's kids.
We just don't look for a cruise ship that is kid-centered.
Okay.
That's probably a better
way to put it.
Yeah. Now, another area that is very important and can really make or break your experience is going to be the cabin type. Not the cabin as far as are you picking a balcony, are you picking an inside room? It's really the layout of the cabin. Now, we've gone on multiple cruises before. We've gone on this one, so we really knew what we were looking for. The cruise that I'm talking about that we went on that we could not believe the way that they laid out the room and it became miserable was the bathroom. So as far as just the toilet was on one side and then the shower was on the other. No door to either one of them as far as there was a glass door. Like you walked into the shower and that was your door, and there was a glass door, kind of frosted glass door to go into the toilet. But then you just shut a curtain. And we felt like, sure, okay, we're together all the time, but there's a level of privacy that's really nice, and we really hated that layout.
Yeah, it didn't work for us at all. The cruise ship we picked, Princess, we really like the cabin layout because we've seen the cabin layout, we've lived in the cabin layout before. And when she says multiple cruises, I think we've been on 3.
Well, yes, 3 together, and then more between, not with together.
You had a life
I stumbled over that one.
Me. You did things like this before you met me.
Yes, and he did too. So so we have done other cruises, but I think it just gives you something to, after you live an experience like that, and not saying it was like absolutely horrible, it's just one of those you walk away from going, we wouldn't do that again.
Right.
So the layout that we look for is we like to have a separate bathroom area. We really like when it's a separate closet space area, that it's not all in your room, because those rooms can get really small. And so when it's divided, it really makes a big difference.
Laundromat.
Yeah, that is another thing that is a real deal breaker if there is not self-serve laundry on board.
And something that we have found on the Princess Cruise is the TV in the staterooms have movies. We went on one. We're not going to mention it. But they had movies. You had to pay for them. It was an extra pay. And I don't like that. I didn't like that idea.
And I think, like you said, you don't want to mention it. The thing is that all the cruise lines offer something different. We're not trying to put one down or the other.
Right.
I think it's worthwhile noting that was a Norwegian line.
I wasn't going to mention it.
It's nothing against Norwegian. They have there was really some great points to that ship. But they didn't have a TV where you could watch any shows at all without paying. And it was $7.99 to watch a movie. You're already paying a lot to be on a cruise. For us, that was something we were on a cruise for a long time. Having those movies or those TV shows available is really a huge plus. They also kept adding new shows when we were on a Princess one before. And so you've never felt like, oh, we've reached the end of what they have online for you to watch.
Right. Now, that's all great. That's fun. That's cool. That's neat. But we picked this cruise line because of the back to back to back to back opportunity to line these cruises up. We're going on 4 different cruises that equal 58 days. Now, all cruise lines have great dining options. Well, Princess falls into that category as all cruise ships. They've got great dining. We don't have to make reservations to go eat in the formal dining area. You can, and we have, but you don't have to. Some cruise lines do have you do have to make reservations. Now, I think a lot of them are getting away from that.
Yeah, and it really depends on the line, because that is one of the things. We don't look for those formal lines. Some cruise lines, you're going, it is very formal. Everything about it's formal. We're not formal people. We like the casual. We like show up, wait in line to just dine, or you can make a reservation on your app that they give you. So those things really appeal to us, just the casual part of it. We also look for a mid-sized ship. We haven't gone on the really, really big ships, so we're not necessarily knocking those. We don't like the really small ones because there's not a lot to do and we're on that ship for a long time.
We like them just right.
We like them just right. Yes. We just like it to be not so overwhelming to get from one point to the other. You're walking forever, but at the same time, we like there to be enough to explore.
Well, Carrie likes to walk around the ship 50 or 60 times a day, so if the ship is too big, she might not survive.
That's how I burn off those desserts.
Yeah, well, that's what I need to do too. So what do we look for in an itinerary? We're not going to be cruising full time, so we're not just going to go anywhere. We look for places that aren't not affordable for us to go to on our own, and we look for places that maybe are tough to get to. I can see us doing a cruise that takes us through the South Pacific, Fiji, and those areas, because we're not going to go there on our own and then fly to the next place and fly to the next place and fly to the next place. We're going to be on a cruise ship doing it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the same thing we're thinking here, is we're going to go to all these locations in Northern Europe, and we wouldn't otherwise be able to do quite as easily as we're going to be able to do on this cruise ship.
Yeah, I think itinerary is a huge factor in what is going to decide what cruise that you're going on. We looked at a lot of different cruises. We really had to work hard to line up what appealed to us, some of them stop in ports that you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm not interested in that. And then the expensive part is definitely a factor of it. Some of these places that we were going to, they just were not going to be feasible. They might have been feasible like how we did Dublin a couple years ago, where we went and we were just in Dublin for a stretch of time, and then we went and did our other travels.
Right.
Because it's so expensive. We didn't want to do this. This is going to check off a lot of places in one stretch for us and make it a lot easier. Now, also, when you are looking at your itinerary, there may be some really cool ports on there and you're like, I'm so excited to get there. You need to make sure how long the cruise that you're going to be on is going to allow you in that port. I can give you a great example of one that I went on, and I was stopped in Santorini. And because of it being a tender port, that's another thing you want to check, is how many of those you're going to have to take the tender boat in, right? So they don't dock. That really cuts off on your time that you have in that port. So if they're only allowing you, say, 5 hours you're in port, and now you have to wait, you won't get a ticket. Some of our tickets that we got to get off of the ship, maybe you can't get off for the first hour and a half. You may only get a couple of hours in that port. So you really want to pay attention to those couple things. Is it a tender port? Some are unavoidable. You're going to have to do that, but how many hours are they going to give you?
Yeah, that's that is the biggest negative, I think, on cruising, is the amount of time you get in each location. We know, we get it. We're not going to get the culture and meet new people and all that. We understand that. We're doing this for a different reason, though. And we also are trying to do it for a little bit of relaxation and travel. If you're doing a port every single day, that might get exhausting. That might just be the same as being on a train or in a car. I would say every other day for me would be good. Now, we do have back-to-back days that we are in ports, which is fine, but I kind of am looking forward to those sea days as well.
Yeah, those sea days are actually when you kind of get to regroup, recoup, take that nap or whatever.
Edit a video.
Yeah. Now, if you're just going on vacation and you have 7 days, you might want to be at port every single day. I think those 7-day cruises, you maybe usually only see about one day that you're going to be at sea, but you're ready to go. But for us, when we're extending it as long as we are, those sea days are actually really important as well.
Okay, back to the back-to-back cruises that I mentioned before. Why are we choosing to do it this way? Well, for the ease of doing a long-term cruise. We weren't going to go across the Pacific Ocean to Australia. We may someday.
Yes.
But this just made a lot of sense to us, and it all seemed to work out. As far as I know, Carrie's the one that put it all together.
Yeah, it's... there's so much really cool things about doing back-to-back. There's some cons too that we, before even doing it, know what they're possibly going to be for us. The packing, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
We will have to pack our bags. So we're on 4 different cruises, 2 different ships. And on one of those, we have the same room. So you can do that if you're booking those, make sure you get the same room if possible. And then that way you're not having to pack up at all on that day that they come back into port and they're changing out and new people are coming on board. You get to just keep your room. The next one, we are switching rooms midway, but it's because we were able to get an upgrade. We'll talk about that in a little bit, to an outside room.
Ooh.
And have a balcony for the longer stretch that we're going to be on there. So I say that's a major draw for us, is the ease of not having to constantly be packing and unpacking.
Yeah, get that same room. That's a big deal. I'd always wondered when I got on a cruise ship the first 3 times, I've been on 3 cruises, how that guy was already in the hot tub when we got there.
Yeah,
It's like,
he's already ready to go.
Now I know. He was already on the ship, probably on the last leg. And he's just going for round 2.
Yeah.
Now that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be the guy in the hot tub.
You'll be the
when everybody's getting on
watching
the boat.
Everybody, yeah. People watching. Now, the couple cons that we do know that we're going to be facing, is make sure that you're looking at them. A lot of time when you are doing a back-to-back cruise, you're on the same ship. And so they can repeat ports sometimes. And so we do have a couple repeat ports. We had to really search and keep kind of looking for different cruises that would avoid having too many of the repeat ports.
Repeat ports.
I have to with that one.
Repeat ports. Now, those can also be days off for us. So I wasn't too bummed out about that. Like Carrie said, some ports you don't care to go into once, well, let alone twice. So there is one port, though, that we did some research on that we might go into twice. It looked that cool. So there can be some advantages as well.
The other con of this is say you're on a ship and you don't care for the ship that much. Just whatever the amenities, maybe you didn't figure something out prior to going and you're like, they don't have this. You get to stay on that ship for the next go round. So, there are some cons to that. So make sure and do that research ahead of time.
And we're going to call it a positive, negative, a pro and con video when this whole experience is over with, because we don't know how it's going to go.
Right.
This might really suck. We don't know. I doubt it. But we are going to cover all the pros and cons when we finish.
The next thing that you're going to be looking for, that we look for, is what amenities are available on these ships. This is that area that can make or break your experience. We have learned this. We've tried it both ways. And one of those areas for us is that drink, Wi-Fi, gratuity. Some cruise lines don't offer like a package deal. That to us is somewhat the appeal of Princess, because we get it all in one package deal.
Yeah, we went on a 17-day cruise and we did not get the drink package, so we did not drink for 17 days. Now, we were fine.
Yeah, it's not
we
this
can
big
do
of a deal.
it. It's not that big of a deal. But the next time we went, we just found it more entertaining to be able to go down to the Irish pub or to Schooner's Bar or wherever, pick a bar and have a drink and have some conversation. That's something that we enjoy doing. And when we can do it for, I'm not going to say free, when we can prepay for it, it just made the experience that much more enjoyable.
It did. When you think of a cruise ship and you think of kind of what's on board, so much of what's on board are bars, different kind of cafes and all this stuff that isn't included in your just base price. You can go to the restaurants, you can go to the buffet, but those coffees that we get in the morning are good espresso, and being able in the evening before dinner, after dinner, or maybe both, and grabbing a really cool cocktail, something that we don't normally treat ourselves to, really made the experience absolutely total. It was a game changer.
It was a game changer.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't drink, that's great too. They have packages for tea and pop and coffee and non-alcoholic beverages. So I would encourage you just to, if you're going to do it, just jump in and do it. Go for it. The other big thing for me is the fitness center, the gym.
That's huge.
And for Carrie. Now, I've already announced in previous videos that I'm going to do a weigh-in, a day one, on video for you all to see how much I weigh.
The weigh in and the weigh out.
The weigh in, and then 2 months later, I will do another video on how much I weigh when I'm heading home. Not only heading home for the holidays.
I know,
so that's
yeah.
We
gotta come in low because we're coming home for the holidays. We can't come home heavy.
Carrie's not gonna mention. She's not gonna weigh in.
No.
We did have one viewer when I mentioned this the first time that said this would be better if you were a female going through menopause. Well, I'm not a female going through menopause, so this might just be for the guys. Sometimes I feel like a female going through menopause.
Maybe I'll weigh in and I will just not show you like the numbers, and I'll just tell you what the end result was.
We're not gonna believe you.
No, you can see the numbers. He can tell you for sure. I'm not decided on that one yet. Okay, the other area that we definitely really enjoy having, and this isn't a make or break for us, is that adult only areas. We like those adult only pool areas. Once again, this is just kind of nice to not have the screaming, the playing and stuff when you kind of just want to chill, be around the pool. Now, along with the fitness center, a huge one for us is, and this is for Brian as well, is the walking track or a promenade that goes all the way around the ship. This is getting harder and harder to come by because as the ships are getting bigger, you find this on the little bit older ships, they are using up all of that space for rooms and the cabins with the view space. Yeah. So unfortunately, we really like those areas to go walking. And so, you know, the gym is nice, but when you want to just get fresh air and be walking outside, those are a major plus.
Yeah, and the internet cafe is also something that we're very interested in. We are going to be editing videos and hopefully uploading videos the entire time. Well, not hopefully, we're going to find a way to do it. If we can't do it on the ship, we're going to do it in port somewhere. These videos will be coming out pretty much close to on time. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I regress. We also like a little shop, a little store. The last cruise we were on, you could go in and buy Tylenol or Dramamine. Might be a good one.
Some shampoo or anything, yeah.
Things like that, which and at a good price too. It wasn't a jacked up and exorbitant price. It was a fair price.
It was, and the thing is, a lot of people may be like, oh, well, they're going to have that on every ship. They don't have that on every ship. We've been on a ship where they did not have anything that you could go into, and so you had to wait till port day and then hope that you could find a little store to go into. So that is something to also just look up. On the note also that Brian had mentioned, like internet cafe, one comment we got from a lot of people was, I don't know how long I could be on a ship. I like quiet space. I like a place where I can go and there's not a ton of people. There is a lot of places on a ship that you can go to where you're not going to have a bunch of people. I'm incredibly an introvert. I like to have my quiet space. I like to be away from people. The internet cafe is absolutely one of those places. Not a lot of people work on a cruise ship, and so you can usually go in there and it's really quiet. The other place that we always would find to go to, or that I would go to, is during the daytime, those nightclubs. Nobody's in them because they're not doing anything there. So you can always kind of go to the nightclubs and sit and read a book or whatever, and you're away from all of the people.
And again, don't forget about the laundromat. Make sure when you're booking a cruise and you think you might need one, check and see if they have one, because you don't want to get on a ship and have them charge you to do your laundry. It's expensive.
Very expensive. Another big area for a lot of people is like entertainment and stuff like that on board. For us, that's not a really huge factor. We don't go to a lot of the shows. We do like if there's going to be some good ones because we do enjoy those. And then Brian does enjoy the cigar lounge if they do have one of those on there.
If they do have one, the first ship we're going to be on has a cigar lounge. The second one turned their cigar lounge into an arcade for kids. So Obviously, they weren't getting enough business in the cigar lounge, so I do understand it, but kind of a bummer.
It is kind of a bummer. Yeah. So if the entertainment area is important to you, make sure you're checking ahead of time how they're rated for the entertainment that they have, and then what other variety of entertainment they offer.
Okay, so how do we book all these back to back to back to back and get the same rooms and do everything that Carrie was able to do? Well, I don't know because I didn't do it. Carrie did. So thank you, Carrie, for keeping me organized on this whole thing. So how did you start? Where did you start? What website did you hit first?
Okay, so the first place that you're going to want to start, and where I find the most useful, is I go to the website called Vacations to Go. We do not book on this website. I know you can, we just don't. But that is kind of where you're going to see all the cruises. So it was very easy to find just the variety and options of cruises and start to narrow down the options.
Then you move to the cruise line that
Yep.
you've chosen.
Then we choose to go on to the actual cruise line and then see. And the thing is that majority of the time, the prices are the exact same. Sometimes Vacations to Go may offer to you some kind of add-on bonus or something, but majority of the time, you're going to pay the same price with a cruise line.
So when you find the cruise you want to go on, then do you look for a cruise that butts up next to it, or do they offer that?
So they don't really offer, I didn't find where you're going to search for necessarily like a back-to-back cruising. The best way I found to search for it, as soon as we were finding some itineraries that sounded appealing to us, is that you take that ship and now you're just going to search that ship. You can do that on Vacations to Go, or you can do it on the actual website for that cruise line. So for us, I was just on the Princess site and I went for the cruise ship that we knew we were going to be on. You search that cruise ship and it's going to show you all the cruises that they're doing. Well, they all back up to each other. So as soon as they come into port, where are they going next? Sometimes they just do a repeat trip of the next same thing you just
Don't
did.
do that one.
Don't do that. That's not fun. But sometimes they go on a whole different itinerary, and that's when it becomes fun to do.
So once you've decided, once you've figured out all these 4 cruises, I know the answer to this one. Do you pay all at once, or do you put down deposits?
The beauty of it is, and we love this, is you are going to put down a deposit. We were able to get in on Princess's $99 refundable deposit. So there's zero commitment to this, but you've locked in that price that you found, and you've locked in a room on that cruise that you're interested in.
So then once the time comes where you have to pay in full, do you just pay that price you agreed upon?
No.
I know the answer to this one too.
So the beauty of putting down that $99 deposit, and you're, say, way ahead of when you're going to actually be cruising, is continue to go back and check on those cruises for better prices. So you're not locked into that price yet. You can always cancel and rebook. You can call them and do that over the phone with them. And so we were able to get we rebooked 3 of our 4 cruises and got much better prices.
Yes, and we did not get any connecting rooms or none of those bunks that fold down.
No. Right. So that is when you're picking your cruise, you want to make sure that you're not just going, hey, that room looks good, that one's open, on the cruise line where they show you which rooms you can pick. You want to go to one of the many websites out there that has where they show the cruise lines, rooms specific that you're going to be on. They're all over the place, but they will show you pictures inside that room. They're going to show you if it was a connecting room, and they're also going to show you if it is one of those rooms that has the overhead bunk beds. They fold up, but they stick out of the wall a long ways. And so then if you're in an inside room, that's a lot, like you're bumping into that thing.
Well, I'd get up in the middle of the night to use the restroom and bonk my head or something.
Yeah, so check that room. Also check the you don't want that.
I don't want that.
You also want to check the location where you're picking a room. If you tend to get seasick, you want to be in the center of the ship. You want to be lower down if possible. But you also want to make note of, are you next to the elevators? That may seem super convenient, but that is the most high traffic area. So if you are in your room, you want to relax, you want it quiet, you're going to hear a lot more chatter in that
You might want to be close to the laundry room.
The laundry is definitely a plus. Yeah, we did check on that because sometimes there's only one laundry on one floor of the ship or whatever. And so we don't want to walk with our laundry all the way. The ship's very big. And so you kind of want to make sure it's in the general vicinity of where your room is at. Now, a couple things to note when you're looking at, say, doing back-to-back cruises. It may seem very appealing, or maybe you weren't able to arrange a back-to-back and you're like, oh, but it's just 2 days in between each of these cruises. Look at that port that you're going to be having to stay in while you're waiting for your next cruise, because they take advantage of you. They know you're there waiting for a cruise ship. They know you're going to pay whatever that you have to pay to get a hotel room there. And so you kind of can end up being hit pretty hard with hotel costs. So line them up as close as possible, or get the back-to-back, but definitely check those pricing.
Yeah, and with that, at the same time, make sure you give yourself a full day before you need to get on that cruise ship. Spend the night, even if you have to pay a higher rate. We got delayed a full day going down to Buenos Aires to get on that cruise ship, but we spent 2 days in Buenos Aires before we had booked 2 days before we knew we were getting on the ship. So we were fine. We still had a day.
Thank goodness.
But thank goodness, right. So make sure you give yourself a day.
Yeah, that is definitely huge advice. You see people coming in that are arriving that day. I just can't imagine the stress level of that.
Frantic and stressed out.
Yeah, there are so many problems with airlines right now.
Horrible.
Just don't do it. It's not worth it.
So we did mention that we got a balcony room for the longest stretch of this cruise. How did that happen?
Okay, so we had decided to do inside rooms. I know a lot of you are probably thinking like 58 days in inside rooms. We've done both, and we personally actually do not mind the inside rooms. There's a lot of benefits to the inside room. One of them is that it's pitch black in there, and so you sleep really well. Yeah, it's cozy, and it's fine. So we had booked 4 inside rooms, and once again, when you're watching for these deals to get those see if they drop in price, don't just be watching for, say, the room choice that you have made. Watch for all the other rooms. We ended up scoring a deal to be able to upgrade to balcony, and it's for our longest stretch. It's a long cruise, that we were able to do $100 more each total to be able to get that balcony room. And back onto that whole, if you do back-to-back cruises, make sure that you are not wanting to switch rooms. We went right across the hallway from where we were at, so we'll have the same steward, and so we're hoping that our understanding is they just move our luggage over. So
we're hoping we get a good steward. We're hoping we get that first part, we hope he's great, and then the second part, we get to keep him. If he's horrible, we're stuck.
Once again, the cons.
Yes, they're all great. He's going to be amazing, I know it. Now, at the end of this entire thing, we're going to do a cost breakdown by cruise and total. So that will come. Now, is cruising inexpensive? Is it a cheap way to travel? The answer is no. No. Especially to Northern Europe, but it's going to be expensive to go there anyway. We're also going to be doing a video on comparing the two, which would cost more.
Now, one way you can cut back, there are a few ways that you can cut back, or you can kind of make it a little bit easier to handle the price, is adding on a repositioning cruise, either the front, back, or even maybe on both ends of it. These cruises, you tend to get a lot of time on the ship for a lot less money. You just don't see as many exciting ports when you're doing it. But for us, you know, after you've been really busy, sometimes having a lot of those seas days is not a bad thing.
Downtime.
Yeah. The other area, like we said, that you can definitely cut back, don't do the Wi-Fi and the drink package if you don't want to. That really does add a lot to your price. That is person to person. We need Wi-Fi no matter what because we work online, so we have to be able to have that. And for us, adding on the drink package, the cost of additional of that is very, very minor.
Right. And free at sea through Princess, nothing is free. Yeah. Especially at sea.
Yeah, I think
there's a cost there.
They stopped calling it that because there was such huge confusion of like people are like, it's free at sea. And it's like, no, it's not free. No, it's not free. You pay for it.
So we don't want to, we looked into it.
Yeah.
We'll just say that.
Yeah. So, well, we hope that this is helpful for you and that will help you kind of go through the process if you are looking to cruise. Maybe it's your first time. We know that it can be an overwhelming process.
If you enjoyed this video, thumbs up. If you're into cruising and you're excited about this adventure we're going to be on, make sure you subscribe. If you've been watching us for a while now, thank you so much because none of this would be possible without you. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.